Hi Booktube, it's Stephanie. My neighbor just started drilling. I'm so sorry if you can hear that. Life, I'm not going to wait again. I already done that. But today I'm going to share with you my spring TBR, and if you want to know why I'm doing it this way, I will have my game also, but the reason why I'm doing that has to do with how my TBR game is built up, and also for the fact that I do usually have something planned, but I just never share with you what that is. And it's also to help with one of the prompts for the game. So I don't actually have a lot of books to talk about because I don't have that many books actually to talk about. I have some other like loose goals in that I want to shop down on my currently reading on Goodreads and on Pagebound. I want to like cut down and actually, get to some of those books again. So that's like a background thing. I will mention one of them that I would definitely want to get to this spring just to get it over with. But let's start with some non-fictions. So my goal this year is to read one non-fiction every month. I do like non-fiction. So I have two books from my library here. The first one is Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green. And the subtitle is The History and Persistence of Our Deadliest Infection. I don't really know a lot about it. I have, however, seen some clips from when he's been interviewed, and he has been asked, well, how does this connect to the tuberculosis, and then he gives an answer, and I thought that was hilarious. It's a pretty short book actually, so yes, I would definitely like to get to this, so this is that. Then for Christmas break, I babysat my niece, and we went to Malmöhus slott and the Tekniska museet. And I know that Malmöhus slott is technically apparently called Slottsholmen. I have not met a single person who actually calls it that. Like ever. I'm sorry, that is Malmöhus. It's, yeah. But yeah. And one of the expeditions that, expeditions. Wow. But one of the set in one of these museums, because they are like on walking distance from each other, there were about the history of Malmö, which is the city I live in, and obviously my niece thought it was so boring. I thought it was so interesting, and the library had this book, Det goda Malmö, Kaffe, korv och karameller by Martin Andersson. Now this is a book about sweets. So the good Malmö, which is the city, coffee, sausage and caramels. And yeah, it basically is a book about some of the industries that we have had here. And I actually had music lessons in the old chocolate factory, and in some locations you could still smell the sugar, like you could. It was so cool. Probably not now, but yeah, so that's why I would really like to get to this one, because I was really inspired, and I just need to get to there again so that I can go around in my own pace. But yeah, so this is book number 2 and another library book. And then the third one, so I should maybe have mentioned this in the beginning, but spring for me is March, April and May. So 3 non-fiction books, and the last one is actually an audiobook, and that is Black Holes by Professor Brian Cox and Professor Jeff Forshaw. I don't really know that much about that book, except it's about black holes, and I am fascinated by that. And I did read a book about, listen to a book last year about black holes that were also narrated by the author, and I really enjoyed it. So that is why I put this one on the list. I have not really read anything about this book in particular, but it showed up that they had added it on Storytel, so I decided to try to get to it. And then, since we are talking about Storytel, another audiobook I would like to just finish is Taken by the Flood by Agatha Christie. This is a Hercule Poirot novel. It is my least favorite Hercule Poirot period. I have never read the books before I started to, now as an adult. But when I was a kid, they had these episodes and mini movies on TV, and me and my mom used to watch them. I despised this episode with a passion, and in the beginning, now, and usually on the TV, they combine certain storylines or characters. It took me like a chapter, if even that. No, I think it was like 5 minutes, and I was like, oh no, it's this one. I know what will happen, I know the twist, and I despise this with a passion. I just need to finish it. Can I DNF it? Of course I can. But then I will not be able to say that I have read all of them. And I would like to. And I have usually said that Hercule Poirot books or Agatha Christie books is a palate cleanser for me. I started this last summer in June or July. It's now beginning of March. Yeah, I just want to get to it and finish it. If that is when I sort through things or clean, I'm gonna cross my fingers and just try to get through it. The next novel, and the only other novel on this list, is Strange New World by Vivian Shaw. This is the last book in the Dr. Gressa Helsing series. I did read the novella in between Grave Importance and this one in February, and I would like to finish this series off, and I was actually going to read this one, but then it turned out that I needed to read that one before this one. So yeah, this is the conclusion to that one. And I am intrigued what this one will be about, because in the beginning she was like, oh, it is a trilogy, I'm not planning to write more books in that series, but then this is apparently the actual finish of it. But yeah, and I am looking forward to this one, definitely. And another thing that the month of February gave me is my love of manga back. I am now caught up with By the Grace of the Gods, so I decided to see if I can, if nothing else, read the 4 volumes that I have of them, and then maybe buy and read the other one, so I'm caught up with another series. And that is That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. So I have volume 21, 22, 23 and 24. So here they are, and I don't actually know how many volumes in total they are up to, but I don't think it's that many more. It might be one more. So yeah, I would really love to be caught up on yet another manga series so that I feel like I can, you know, finish them off, because I do have a lot of volumes of manga, but I want to get to them before I start new series or get even more series going. So this is my spring TBR together with Taken by the Flood and Black Holes, and I am semi-confident that I can make this work, because I would have 3 months to do this, and 4 of these are manga. And yeah, I will try to work these books into my game so that I can have an easier time getting to them. But yeah, as I said, I have other things I'm trying to figure out, that currently reading thing, so that I'm actually, you know, getting to them or decide if I want to DNF or not. So yeah, those are the books that I have on this list. Do you have any specific reading plans now in the spring, or are you mood reading or anything like that? Please tell me down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!